get into day 2. I wake up in the morning now. It's the second day of my mom's week, and I am pissed, okay? The night prior, I looked in my mom's phone and noticed that somebody was changing things on her money market accounts. So obviously, I'm going to have a problem with that. On top of that, his wife, calling things up. I just want to lay this out for you guys and put this into perspective. Just think about this for a second. I know I've said this before in other videos, but this girl is a complete stranger to me. I don't have a relationship with her. I never did have a relationship with her. I never got time to know her. So if you guys watch this series, the Evil series from the very beginning, then you know that this girl pretty much cut me off from the jump. I didn't really ever get time to get to know her or have a relationship with her. I understand that she was married to my brother for 2 years or 2.5 years at this point, or 3 years, whatever it was. But I don't fucking know you. I think it was pretty clear that my mom and I were pretty uncomfortable with her. Mind you guys, when my mom had this talk with them about, I don't know, a week and a half before she passed away, she told my brother, this girl needs to take a step back, and she agreed to. But as soon as my mom became incapacitated, her boundaries were just we don't need that anymore. You know what I'm saying? No boundaries. She just completely lacks any type of social boundaries. The way you go about things and handle things in life says a lot about who you are. First of all, this girl never, ever not once during this whole time expressed sympathy to me. Sorry your mom died, Liana. So if you really wanted to fix things and play a role in things, that would have been a good start. However, I understand you're controlling. She's a control freak. There's no question about that. This girl has admittedly, if you have listened to the tapes, which I'm going to link below, of her fighting with my mom, she's like, I control my mother's finances. Good for you. She controls her mother's finances, my brother's finances. That's great. You're not controlling my finances and my mother's finances. You want to control your children, my brother, people at your job, great. Me? No, you're not doing that. If you want to help out, you call me up and say, hey, Liana, is there any way I could help you? Would you like me to make some phone calls? That's how you help out. You don't just take it upon yourself just because you're married to my brother and start doing this shit. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like that. I don't give a fuck that you're married to my brother. This is our mom, and you need to respect that I exist. Being married to my brother doesn't just automatically earn you respect. He chose you in his life. I didn't. I didn't have a choice. But I do have a choice when it comes to my mother and my mother's shit when my mother passes away. You're not controlling my mother's estate. It's not happening. Especially, it was pretty clear that my mom didn't want you doing that. All my aunts knew it. All of them. Especially my Aunt Debbie and my Aunt Betty. More than anybody, because those were the two that my mom talked to the most. And these people don't realize that, I talked to all of my mom's friends. I talked to my mom's cousins. My mom had conversations with other people, and those other people validated all of this. So it's unbelievable that my aunts and uncles are encouraging this shit. And now that I know that you guys are watching, hi, enjoy the show, because it's about to get ugly. And I don't know why you guys are so upset, because you guys did what you did. And if you didn't see a problem with your actions, you should have no problem about me sharing this shit. Right? So I'm going to tell you guys what happened in the morning. I woke up that morning and I was fuming. And again, before I even get into this, let me back up one more time. I grew up with my brother my whole entire life. This girl was only around for 3 years. I know who my brother is. I know him very well. My brother is not the take charge type. That's just not his personality. Never was and never will be. As much as you want to try to convince me, ain't gonna happen. He's just, this fucking guy couldn't even pick out a goddamn dresser on his own or his own clothes. Because he used to have to call me up.
Lee, yeah, could you come clothes shopping with me? I'm bringing this girl out on a date. I don't know what to wear.
He can't even pick out his own clothes. but I'm supposed to believe he's taking charge and doing all this shit. Not him, dude. Not him. My cousin's father-in-law passed away, and he couldn't even decide on his own that he was gonna go to the wake. Like, he had to call me up and be like,
Are you going to so-and-so's dad's wake?
dude, I mean, just common sense. The guy came to our father's wake, you go to his wake. Pretty simple shit. I decided that next morning that it was time to confront it. Let me just preface this. I know we had to do this shit. I know we had to call banks. I know we had to collect money. I know we had to do all that shit, obviously. But like, one thing at a time. There was no rush to do any of this shit. And you guys are gonna see how bad this got. This got so ugly. I mean, it got really, really, really ugly after this. Personally, I felt like we should all sit down together. That lawyer that wrote that second will never came back up to the hospital. So we were basically stuck with a will that said my Aunt Debbie and my Aunt Betty were the executors. As much as that sucked at that point in time, I was like, okay, I thought they would do the right thing. And at this point in time, I'm still thinking that my Aunt Debbie and my Aunt Betty have some respect for my mom, but I soon learned that wasn't the case at all. But I was just like, we don't have to do this right now. This account that they switched the email address on, this was an account that had a lot of money in it, an investment account. And I'm like, why are you guys changing emails and all this other shit? So with that said, I felt like I had to confront my brother being sneaky little asshole. So I send him a screenshot of my mom's email alert that I got that says that email address update. Your primary email address has been updated. This update may have been an addition of a new email address. Like, why are you doing this right now? Let's just get through the week. I said, hey, Steven, who's changing email addresses and passwords on mommy's accounts? You shouldn't be in any of these accounts without speaking to me first. So he texts me back, I'm not doing any of that. Bullshit. This didn't just magically happen. So I wrote, then who is? He writes, what accounts? I wrote, Verizon. He goes, I have no idea. Any others? Why'd you ask any others? That's a weird question. It's almost like, what do you know about, Leanna? I have to know what you know so I know what to lie about. So I said, had someone change the primary email account on mommy's Fidelity account? It wasn't mommy because she died on the 20th. I called the inheritance department and they're going to investigate it. So he writes, and side note, if I shouldn't be in any of those accounts without speaking to you first, should you not then be in any of those accounts without speaking with me first? And I wrote, and also, Satan shouldn't be making any phone calls to any companies, Newsday General or otherwise. So he tries calling me. At this point in time, I was done with the phone calls. You're not going to call because you see what happens when I get on the phone with these assholes and when my husband gets on the phone with these assholes is your words could be twisted. Lies get told. I need a record. You're a flyer. I need a record. I need your lies on record so that if you try to screw me in the end, just like you did with the take money out, the life insurance lapsed, and then all of a sudden magically the next day it didn't lapse. They set me up, and you guys will see how this all plays out. They set me up to try to fuck me, really. My own family. That's what they did. So he writes, call me. He writes, number one, I can call about any account that I am a beneficiary on, just like you can. So I wrote, I just got an email alert. I'm not in the accounts. I'm trying to deal with getting through the funeral. I said, Satan needs to stop calling. She told my husband, she really needs to step back. It's my mother. So then, you guys ready for this? Sit down, hold on to your seats for this one, hold on to the curtains, put your seatbelts on. This shit's crazy. Because you ready for this? Number two, he wasn't done. He wasn't done with his thing. Number two, I gave Satan power of attorney for me so she could call on my behalf anywhere. It's my mother too. Are you the dumbest fucking asshole in the world or what? You are fucking stupid. I thought he was joking with me. He's got to be kidding. Nobody's that fucking stupid. Let me just explain to you guys. Power of attorney is something that's used when people are sick, elderly, incapacitated, they can't leave their house for whatever reason. Normal, healthy human beings don't really do that. I guess if you're writing a will out or something, but it would say, in case of, should I become unable to do these things myself, this person gets power of attorney. That is psychotic to me. You signed power of attorney over to your wife when there's nothing wrong with you. You are a fully able-bodied, capable adult, and you signed power of attorney from yourself to your wife so she could call on your behalf. You're a fucking idiot. This woman's been married twice already. I wonder how many other men she has power of attorney over. Who would even think to do that? It's sick, guys. I really thought he was joking. Good one. No, I thought he was joking. So I was like, oh, really? Okay, where's the paperwork? He goes, do you want me to send you a copy of the notarized form? So I was still writing. Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, regardless, we should all be sitting down and discussing this shit first. That's not, like, abnormal, is it? Where were you guys when Mommy was alive? That's what I'd like to know. There was no interest in helping then. Yes, send me a copy of the form, please. And here's the answer I get back to that. You also can't be going in the house and taking what you want or telling me you're taking Mom's truck. That's not how it works. All of Mom's stuff belongs to the estate until the will is settled. I wrote, haha, okay, Satan called my husband and said I could take the truck. When I said take Mommy's truck, I meant like use it because my brakes were grinding and I clearly didn't have time to get to a mechanic. So then again, he tries calling me and I'm not answering the phone. And you know why they wanted to do this phone call thing? It was because he wanted to manipulate. Satan was going to be right behind him. Tell her I said that. Tell her this. Tell her that. Da, 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 da. So I said, I'm not fighting with you. Let's get through today. I just want you to know I know what's going on. And you could ask anyone. Mommy didn't want Satan touching any of her stuff. I have her saying it on tape if you'd like to hear it. So you're going against her wishes, not mine. Now, when I said tape, I was talking about, and I played it for you guys that day when we were in the hospital and had that meeting with the palliative care team. So he writes back to me now, again, listen up. Her will says what her wishes are, that we get everything 50-50. That's it. That's not you taking what you want and giving away what you want. My family should know this. What he's referring to me giving away is my mom's bed to my grandmother. He didn't want the bed. In fact, side note here, when we were at the funeral home 2 days prior to this and my brother was talking about, having estate sales and all that stuff, my brother said, and he made it pretty damn clear, that he didn't really want anything from my mom's house. And I quote, he said, it's all junk. I don't really want anything. So just keep that in mind. Bed, okay? He did not want the bed, but he had to be an asshole and not let my grandmother have the bed that was just going to get thrown out anyway. So he goes, don't try to guilt me. And this goes to show, again, where his head was at the whole time. Don't try to guilt me. And I know you were trying to have her write me out of the will. I just want to tell you guys something, okay? My brother knows me. My family knows me. I have never in my entire life ever fucked anybody over when it came to anything like this. Money, nothing. Why would you believe that? Where did you get that from? Oh, wait a second. Who's the only people you guys were talking to for a while? Oh, yeah, that's right. Aunt Betty and my Uncle Bob. Because guess what? I found out, and my mom found this out after it happened, and my Aunt Betty never mentioned it to my mom, that right around that time my mom was going for that whole second opinion thing, my brother and Satan went over Aunt Betty's house and hung out one day. My mom never knew about it. They never told her, oh yeah, your son was by. My mom talked to Aunt Betty the next day and she never told my mom about it. Now what the fuck kind of shady shit is that? These two assholes knew how upset my mom was that me and my brother weren't talking to one another. And instead of trying to mend things and heal things, they took a hammer and a chisel and they drove the wedge further in between my brother and I. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Really. I was never, ever trying to have my mom write him out of the will. It didn't happen for a reason. I knew my mom would never, ever, ever do that. I watched my mom get abused by these two assholes for 2 years straight. She always accepted my brother back. Always. No matter how shitty he was to her, she always accepted him back. So would I ever even think that was something my mom would do? No. My mom did talk about it once, that she wanted to take my brother off the will. This was after a fight that they had before she even had cancer. And I was like, Mom, that would be pretty stupid if you did that, because if you want us to talk, that's not the way to do it. Again, I hate to use her cousins as examples, but her two cousins aren't speaking to one another over this very similar situation that one sister got written out of the will. That's not a way to like unite us, you know? So I would just give them half. Do I still feel like that now after all the shit they put me through in the 2 years after my mom passed away? No, I don't feel like that at all. My brother shouldn't have gotten a dime, to be honest with you guys. Whatever. It's not my money, and it was never my decision to make with my mom's shit. Trust me, if I really wanted to, I probably could have convinced my mom. I didn't do it for a reason, because I'm not a piece of shit. I said to my mom, you can't erase 36 years or whatever age my brother was at the time for a few, months or a year of time that he was an asshole because he's brainwashed by this succubus demon seed. My mom just wanted to get him off as executor because she knew Satan's a little controlling. We foresaw this shit, and look what's happening. She's getting powers of attorney signed. I was just shocked that he said that. And I knew that the only person that could have told my brother that was Aunt Betty and Uncle Bob. So he proceeds to send me copies of the power of attorney form that his wife filled out for him. And I noticed on this power of attorney form that I was like, holy shit, this bitch never legally changed her name. She still has her ex-husband's name, which, all right, fine. It's the, same name as her kid, her second ex-husband. Just want to make that clear. She still has her second ex-husband's name. I was like, wow, because she for a while she was using my maiden name, which is, my brother's last name. She was using that on Facebook. Bitch, don't use that shit. You don't even deserve to have that name. I'm glad you didn't take it. Thank you. You did my family name a favor. We don't want you being associated with us. Thanks. So he sends me the form. And I'm like, wow. So I wrote back to him and I'm like, I'm not taking mommy's car right now. I told you my brakes are shot on my car. First of all, I didn't even want my mom's truck. She has a Honda CRV. I hate Hondas. No offense to anybody that has a Honda. It's just that, like, I always drove Toyotas, Nissans. Like, I just don't like the way Hondas drive. I just don't like the brakes. I just didn't like the truck. I didn't want it. So I said I wasn't trying anything. I never spoke to mommy about her will, ever. Who told you that? Aunt Betty? I said, wow, you are delusional. Mommy actually told me about 3 years ago that she wanted to do that, and I told her I'd be really pissed if she did and give you half of everything anyway. You are fucking sick if you think that. Mommy told me that she wanted to make me the executor. She told just about everyone she knows that. I never spoke to her, obviously, because I am not the executor. She didn't like your wife, and that's the only reason why. It was nothing against you. So then I get this. You are being blocked. I am done. That was not my brother. That's like Satan's favorite thing. I'm done. I'm done. I'm fucking done. It's her famous line. She says it all the time. I'm done. And my brother does not do that whole U and R instead of like the actual word A-R-E. He doesn't do that. You're going to block me now? Cool story, bro. So I wrote, it's obvious that your wife needs to control everything, and mommy just wanted me to have a fighting chance since I am the one who took care of her. Regardless, she never changed it, and you guys and us should talk before you go changing account email addresses and canceling shit. Now, you see how defensive they got over this? And, okay, now you're going to block me? So I text them again, and as you guys could see, it's green because I got blocked. So I wrote, you obviously don't want to sit down and talk. That's fine, Steven. All you fucking care about is money anyway. But he never got that one. So after this, I was like, well, This is gonna be an uncomfortable day. I'm sorry, I had to say something. Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe I should have waited until after the wake. But it was like, you people have been sneaking around being assholes and being shady for months, and I haven't said anything about it. I don't know where this lying Steven came from, but that is not the person I knew. My brother was never a liar. He was like Honest Abe.
I chopped down your cherry tree.
This guy, I don't know who he is, and I don't like who he is. He's a piece of shit, and I want nothing to do with this asshole. That was the last text I had with my brother. So, my husband takes a look at that power of attorney form, and my husband happens to notice something. Let's take a look at it. That power of attorney form was signed the day we found out that my mom was dying. The 18th, on my husband's birthday. So the minute we found out my mom was dying, this bitch was like, here, fill out this power of attorney form. I'm going to go get it notarized in the hospital. And I want you guys to also take notice. You see how it's all wrinkled up there? Well, guess what? Me and my husband think, but we're not 100% sure, but that day when we caught Satan stuffing papers into the bag and holding it like this, that's what she was stuffing in her bag, because they had it notarized in the hospital. As you can see from this picture, I found the woman's name on the website for the hospital, and there's her notary stamp. Same exact name. Couldn't even wait until my mom died to do this. They had to get it done so she could control everything. This is what they were doing. That's what they were doing. They went downstairs. They called me up to the hospital in the morning time to make sure I was there, so they knew where I was, so they could go downstairs and get this shit notarized. Tuned for part 2, because this is just the first part of the day.